Welcome to the Sachsenring, the ADAC TCR Germany, almost ready to go here as we prepare for what is the penultimate round and our penultimate destination of the season. We have 4 races left to go, 2 here at the Sachsenring, 2 more to come at Hockenheim on the 22nd and 23rd of October, and we have just 120 points left on the board. This man, Martin Andersson, has an advantage in excess of 70 points in the championship. I don't believe he can quite win it in today's race, but he is very, very close to championship glory. Jessica Bachmann, his closest competition in a new car. The Audi RS3 from Com2U Racing is her new steed for this weekend. A departure from the ADAC Motorsport team, courtesy of the collision with team boss Robin Jahr last time out at the Lausitzring. Lots of drama at the Lausitzring, so Jessica Bachmann in a new car at a track she hasn't raced before. Jonas Karklees we saw third on the grid in the Nordpass-backed Hyundai i30N. Nordpass-backed because he is heavily involved with Nordpass and its kind of umbrella company as well. The Nord security firm, and psyching himself up there is Martin Andersson. I think he knew we were watching as well. Look, he's looking at the camera. Martin Andersson heads off on the warm-up lap with Jessica Bachmann, his closest championship competition, alongside. Now, Jessica has had a little bit of time in the car. I think it was a single day's worth of testing about 3 weeks ago with Com2U. I'm sure she had some practice starts as a part of that, but this is something of a blank canvas for the Swedish racer. But she starts from the front row of the grid today. It is Jonas Karklees and Simon Ladniak on a row 2 of the grid behind Andersson and Bachmann. Simon Ladniak, the second of the Engstler Hondas, of course. René Kirscher, the first of the ADAC Motorsports Hyundais, alongside Niels Langeveld, who takes over Vincent Rademacher in the Holden Astra this weekend. Roland Hertner and Patrick Singh on row 4 of the grid. Newcomer for ADAC Motorsports, Tim Rulliker, who comes from the Tourenwagen Junior Cup, alongside Max Grun. Row 6 of the grid, Kai Jordan and Robin Jahr himself. And then on the 7th and final row, we have Kai Rozowski and Mikael Maurer. So a good, strong grid of cars. Some very competitive new drivers, particularly that number 14 car, the Astra from the Maurer Motorsport organization, being driven by Niels Langeveld, who has previously come 3rd place in ADAC TCR Germany. There you see the points implications. Simon Ladniak is still mathematically just about in the championship. Jessica Bachmann, after a disappointing pair of events in August, is some 77 points behind this man, Martin Andersson, who won't quite secure the championship today, we believe. Although saying that, if he does outscore Jessica Bachmann by 18 points, he will. So I should eat my words there, because at the end of this race, there will be 95 points left to score in this 2022 season. And so if he outscores Jessica Bachmann by 18 points, it will be a championship win today for Martin Andersson. The window of opportunity for Jessica Bachmann is very much closing. Jonas Karklees and Simon Ladniak on row 2 of the grid. René Kirscher and Niels Langeveld. Keep an eye on Langeveld, as we said, 3rd in 2018 in TCR Germany. Also competed in ADAC GT Masters in 2020 and has just won the Italian Touring Car Championship. Secured the title a couple of weeks ago at Imola. So is still just as sharp in a TCR car as he was when we saw him in 2018. Looking forward to see him in the thick of it in what should be a stunning TCR Germany race. 30 minutes of racing to come at a circuit where front-wheel drive cars can sometimes struggle. There are so many left-hand bends here. It can really play havoc with those front tyres. It's going to be survival of the fittest and the fastest. As they get underway, we've got yellow flags. Jonas Karklees has not got off the line. Everybody else has done, and it is Martin Andersson that leads into the first corner. Jessica Bachmann stays behind him in second place. Then it's Simon Ladniak, of course. Jonas Karklees, I believe, is rolling. However, he is rolling at the back of the pack. Yes, he is moving, but that will be disappointing for Jonas, who was hoping to convert third on the grid to a podium, perhaps even a win in today's race. So this race could be a championship clincher for Martin Andersson, but if Jessica Bachmann scores good points, she will still be in the title hunt. Immediately, Andersson has broken away from the chasing pack, and Andersson's teammate closing in and passing Jessica Bachmann. Ladniak through, and so is Renee Kirscher. Jessica Bachmann has fallen down the order massively on this first lap. Now, is this just a lack of confidence in the car, or is this a problem? She is already down to 5th place. Also through is Niels Langeveld. Roland Hertner a little further back in the Civic from Liqui Team Engstler, making a move there, I believe, on Kai Jordan. But Jessica Bachmann now under pressure from Patrick Singh as well. So in 5th place, she's already fallen away from the Astra of Langeveld. And now Patrick Singh in the Hyundai is challenging. Jessica Bachmann just not up to speed on that first lap of the race at all. The number 26 car just doesn't look fully comfortable through the corners. Jessica was quick in practice. She secured a front row start for today's race. We've already run qualifying for tomorrow's second race as well, and I can tell you that she'll be starting on the second row of the grid in tomorrow's race. And Mikael Maurer is into the pit lane, so a problem in the early going. Bonnet up for Mikael Maurer. That'll be a disappointment for him. Here's a replay at the start, and the stall there for Jonas Karklees. Played havoc for a few different drivers. Renee Kirscher in particular had to take evasive action, did a very good job to not lose too many positions, given the stranded car ahead of him. Really unfortunate for Jonas Karklees, who's been on a rich run of form lately. Had a guest appearance in TCR Europe at the Nürburgring just a few weekends ago as well. Is looking to continue in a TCR car in 2023. Potentially including TCR Germany. And we go back to live pictures. In fact, no, sorry, this is still a replay of the first lap, of course, where Jessica Bachmann ended up losing 1, 2, 3 positions between turn 8 and turn 10 on the opening lap. And Bachmann remains in 5th place, but certainly isn't challenging Langeveld. Niels Langeveld, who expected to be a podium contender this weekend, filling in for Vincent Rademacher, who is away on a personal commitment. We expect him to be back for the Hockenheim season finale. And there is Jessica Bachmann in 5th place now. 5th place, scores 11 points here, which would mean she remains in the championship hunt if things were to finish as they are right now, but only by a matter of points. A matter of about 4 points, to be exact. Martin Andersson, in the second half of this season, has really driven away with it as misfortunes befell Jessica Bachmann throughout the month of August at the Nürburgring and then at the Lausitzring. Of course, at the Lausitzring in race 2, we saw her and team boss Robin Jahr have a collision, which dropped Jessica from a podium position down to, I believe, 8th place. Yes, it was indeed 8th place, and she'd started on pole for that race as well, so it really was a very bad day in the office, and not soon afterwards she made overtures to other teams, hence the arrival of Com2U Racing with a single car for Jessica Bachmann. So Jessica remains in 5th place ahead of Patrick Singh. Behind is Robin Jahr. I'm sure that Robin may be keen to try and get past Jessica Bachmann. Of course, he is the team boss at ADAC Motorsport, the team that Jessica Bachmann departed from following Lausitzring. He's currently being pursued there by... In fact, sorry, I'm just looking back to 9th place, aren't we, at the moment, with Kai Jordan. Kai Jordan under pressure from Tim Rolliker there. So this is the battle for 9th that we see into the first corner. Jonas Karklees on the recovery drive. He's already gotten past Max Grun and Kai Rozowski. And Rolliker is the next target for Jonas Karklees, the Lithuanian driver. Karklees, who has had 4 podium finishes so far this season. Unlikely to do so from his current position of 11th, of course, but certainly a driver who we can always expect to be up at the sharp end if all things run smoothly. Unfortunately, that start was anything but smooth. Same can be said for Max Grun's run there through turn 8. Got a wheel onto the gravel and slid in the back of shot. You see there the 2 new entries for ADAC Motorsport in the form of Kai Jordan and Tim Rolliker, who both joined the series this weekend. Rolliker in the i30N, and there is Kai Jordan in the Veloster, getting out wide, and he's going to lose a position. He's probably going to lose 2 because Jonas Karklees is on the case as well. Rolliker through into 9th place, and Jonas Karklees tried to outdrag Kai Jordan down the straight for 10th. He might dive to the inside at turn 1. Does he do so? Yes, he does. Jonas Karklees up into P10 then. The recovery drive continues for the Lithuanian driver. There's a replay of the mistake that eventually cost Kai Jordan 2 positions. So easy, especially as the race goes on and the tyres start to wear. It's so easy down at turn 13 after the waterfall. Turn 13 is a corner known as Saxon. And with that downhill into the braking zone, it's quite easy to misjudge the corner. No misjudgments thus far from Martin Andersson, who led last time by a margin of 1.968 seconds. He is pursued by Simon Ladniak, his own teammate. Ladniak, who leads the junior classification. René Kirscher in 3rd overall is the 2nd place runner among the junior class drivers. There you see Niels Langeveld in the Astra. Jessica Bachmann has started to put a gap between herself and Patrick Singh and may soon be challenging. Niels Langeveld for 4th place as Tim Rolliker, as Jonas Karklees in his rearview mirrors, side by side for 11th place further back there as well between Kai Jordan and Max Grun. Jordan going defensive there in the 18 car. Grun the Audi, trying to find a way by. It's not forthcoming for the time being. Tim Rulliker racing for ADAC Motorsports. Despite losing Jessica Bachmann after Lausitzring, ADAC, of course, running 4 cars this weekend, where previously they have run 3 cars all season. Karklees just lurking. He'll try and get a good run out of the final corner. Of course, turn 1. By far the best overtaking opportunity here at the Sachsenring. Out to the final corner they go. And that was a very nice run, I think, from Jonas Karklees. I'm not sure he's quite going to be close enough, but he has the slipstream. I'm sure he's closing in. And he does have a look to the inside. Is he going to get there? Yes, he does. Nicely done. Don't think Tim Rulliker made it particularly difficult for the Lithuanian, but Jonas Karklees is through into 9th place. Meanwhile, at the sharp end of the order, Martin Andersson leads by 2.1 seconds as it stands. Latniak's still there in 2nd place. The gap between 4th place Niels Langeveld and 5th place Jessica Bachmann is still coming down. Although last time, Bachmann was only a 10th of a second quicker across the line over the course of the lap. Replay here of Jonas Karklees. Easily done. I think Tim Rulliker, who's here, of course, for the first time this season, doesn't want to be taking season-long competitors out of the race. Niels Langeveld may be feeling a little bit of pressure. You saw him just bite the gravel trap a little bit there. We saw lots of that in the ADAC GT Masters race earlier today, especially in the second half of the race as the tyres started to drop off for everybody. And now Jessica Bachmann is well within striking distance of Niels Langeveld. You just get the feeling that Langeveld, who is also taking to a new car this weekend, might be struggling a little more than Jessica Bachmann. Jessica had a great start to her season. 4 wins within the first 6 races for Jessica Bachmann. However, the most recent 4 races, the most recent 2 rounds, really difficult times for Jessica Bachmann. It wasn't the biggest surprise in the world when we heard that she'd be moving to a new car and a new team. Certainly, the experience of having to learn a track where she hasn't raced before in the form of the Sachsenring, in a car she's only briefly driven previously. That is a stacked deck against the Swedish driver, and she's putting in an admirable effort here. As it stands, she's about 5 seconds back from a podium finish. 5 seconds behind Renee Kircher in 3rd place. Moreover, she's got a Holden Astra in her line of sight. Incidentally, the pair of Holden Astras from ADAC Motorsports, I noted, have recently gone on the market after the conclusion of the 2022 season, so anyone who wants to race an Astra in TCR competition, particularly here in TCR Germany, we'd like the cars to stay with us, should maybe contact Beat Maurer, the team principal of ADAC Motorsport. Latniak and Kircher in the battle for 2nd place. Just approaching half distance in this one. Of course, we do wonder whether or not we are going to see the tyres play a factor here. These front-wheel drive cars are usually pretty graining heavy on the front axle anyway. Of course, they put the steering and the power through the front wheels. I think that right front tyre has probably been the bane of many an engineer this weekend within the TCR Germany paddock. There is Jessica Bachmann in 5th place. Niels Langeveld has done a good job of defending so far. Meanwhile, further back at turn 9, that was Roland Hurtner finding a way past Robin Jahr, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Jahr has dropped from 7th to 9th place on that lap alone. Jonas Karklees followed Roland Hurtner through as well. So Hurtner up to P7. Oh, and that's a moment for Simon Ladniak. Dropped a wheel into the gravel. Not the first time we've seen that happen in this race, but that was a less than ideal place to do it. Almost ended up into the gravel trap completely. Held it together by the thinnest of margins. Of course, the rule in a front-wheel drive car is typically boot it. If you're sideways, boot it and hope it goes around in the direction you want to be pointing. And I think that's exactly what Ladniak did there. We ride on board for a replay. This is how it looked for Rene Kirscher. Oh, and that was a scary moment for Simon Ladniak. He had to put the brakes on there. Can't afford to be doing too much of that. Of course, this is not just the battle for second overall, it is also the battle for the junior category lead between Ladniak and Rene Kirscher. Those two are the leading contenders in the junior class. Ladniak with a 26-point advantage coming into this weekend has certainly been the favourite in the eyes of many all season long, but Rene Kirscher has always been there or thereabouts, and certainly he could do with a second overall and also a win in the junior class. There's Jessica Bachmann, still following Niels Langeveld at the moment. Patrick Singh leads the pack for 6th place, followed by Roland Hurtner, Jonas Karklees, the ever so sideways Robin Jahr, and I think he's gone a little bit too far out wide there. Yes, he did. Tim Rolliker wasn't about to try and stuff it up the inside of his team boss, though. Smart thinking from the youngster, 21-year-old racer Tim Rolliker, who has previously competed in the Tourenwagen Junior Cup, which caters for compact city cars such as the Volkswagen Up, an emerging category on lower ADAC event bills in the German and Netherlands region. Moving up to TCR here. Certainly more of a pure race car than his Volkswagen Up. There was a move potentially on there for 2nd place. Yes, Ladniak and Kirscher still going hammer and tongs as they run through turns 2 and then 3 into Castrol Omega, which is turn 4. You see there Kirscher running it out wide to try and get a better slingshot up the hill through 5, the first apex, then into 6 and 7. They crest the hill between 6 and 7. And then it's downhill again. And thus begins the long sequence of sweeping left-hand bends which characterize the Sachsenring circuit and are the main route of the various challenges for the drivers, for the engineers here. Over the crest of the hill at the waterfall, down through turn 12. Another good overtaking opportunity here at Sachsen. I don't think Kirscher is close enough, however. Not on this occasion. We have noticed across the season that the Hondas sometimes fade in the latter third of the race. If that happens to Ladniak in this one, he's in trouble. He got a bit of a tag on the way into the corner from Rene Kirscher, and he's made a slight error on the way out of the corner. He's through into 2nd place, Rene Kirscher. Simon Ladniak went slightly wide out of turn 14. And the Hyundai has sidled on by into second place and the junior lead. Let's get a replay of that. Now, how much of an impact did that little collision there make? I'm not convinced it was the reason he drifted out wide. Certainly unsettled the car slightly. Here we see a replay of it again into turn 14. Little touch here, but Ladniak makes the apex without problems. Tries to carry a lot of speed out of the corner and ends up with a wheel in the gravel. Don't think Rene Kirsch's contact is directly to blame for Ladniak making that error. But nonetheless, now that Rene Kirscher is through, look at how he's gotten away from Simon Ladniak. Already well over a second between the two of them. Meanwhile, Roland Hertner sent into a spin by Patrick Singh. Hertner on the previous lap had moved up into 6th place. But just a few corners later, Patrick Singh tagged him. I believe Rene Kirscher, I believe Jonas Karklees is now challenging for 6th place. Yes, he is. Down towards the Saxon corner, turn 13. Jonas Karklees up the inside of Patrick Singh. And the move is made for 6th place. Jonas Karklees continues to recover from his stall on the line. Is now back up to 6th position. It's been a solid salvage job here from the driver of the Nordpass Hyundai, the number 27 car. And up the inside now goes Robin Yar. Patrick Singh demoted another position here by Robin Yar. That move for 7th place. 7th position then for Roya Motorsport by ASL Lichtblau's team boss. 8.5 minutes of racing left to run. And this 4-car train remains, although I think now that Jonas Karklees is through, he will probably bolt. He has a gap of 10 seconds between himself and 5th place Jessica Bachmann, which is more than likely insurmountable. Jessica Bachmann still within a second of Niels Langeveld. Patrick Singh once again finds himself under pressure. This time it's Tim Rulliker who's taking a vested interest. Looks to the inside at Saxon, can't quite get it done on that occasion. Patrick Singh will be hoping that Roland Hertner doesn't close back in on him. Roland Hertner is an old-school touring car driver, and the pact among old-school touring car drivers tends to be get what you give. Patrick Singh gave Roland Hertner a shove, and if he gets half an opportunity, I expect Hertner will provide a receipt. There's Max Grun up the inside of Kai Jordan. No, I thought he might dive to the inside. He goes to the outside instead. I think that Kai Jordan's braking may have slightly surprised Max Grun there. There was a whiff of the swerve and whoa from Max Grun there. And it sounds like that car now has some gear selection issues. He locked up massively into turn 1, and now he doesn't seem to have proper drive in the Audi. Oh, that's a huge shame for Max Grun, who has had some moments of promise this year. But this isn't the first time. We've seen some misfortunes before, the driver of the 13. I wonder if there's a correlation between fortune and number there. Well, some would tell you yes. 6 minutes and 22 seconds of this race remain, and Martin Anderson leads the way by 5.8 seconds as it stands. Rene Kirscher still there in 2nd place. Meanwhile, Jessica Bachmann is on the move. What's going on here? Jessica is still... Oh, she's up to 3rd place. Okay, so Ladniak really is struggling here. Langeveld has got through to 2nd place. Jessica Bachmann is now in 3rd. I think Ladniak and Kirscher may have gotten together because both of them have dropped 2 positions. They were in 2nd and 3rd place. They're now in 4th and 5th. So off camera, I believe Ladniak and Kirscher have had a coming together. Kirscher looks to the outside at Castrol Omega. Rene Kirscher then was in second place and is now demoted to fifth. Ironically, they've lost 2 positions. They're still fighting for the junior class lead, but clearly things are running amok here between Ladniak and Rene Kirscher. Kirscher looks to the inside at turn 8. That is not an overtaking opportunity, finds her. Tried telling him that. He certainly had a good look. Didn't quite get it done. Simon Ladniak still looking like he's having to fight that car every inch of the way. And drifting wide there is Ladniak as they go through Waterfall. We see the gap there between Langeveld and Bachmann. They're still dueling for second place, but fourth place between Ladniak and Rene Kirscher. We're still not exactly sure how he got to this point. Ladniak, though, just made that very easy on the exit of Sachsen. Rene Kirscher is through. We've had a separate bulletin saying that car 34... no, we've had 2 bulletins. Car number 21 and 8 should change positions. So I think that's what we just saw happen on camera. Rene Kirscher being allowed through. Now, is this a replay of what happened between Kirscher and Ladniak, I wonder? We ride on board with Rene Kirscher. I'm kind of waiting for a thud and a sideways here from Rene Kirscher. Now, he was going slowly. I think he was trying to allow Ladniak through. And eventually, while they were kind of arguing with each other in the track, on the track, no, I insist, you go through. No, you. It allowed Langeveld and Jessica Bachmann to get through. Now, that is very strange. I think there may have been a misunderstanding as to who was meant to overtake who there, because these two were just kind of having a bit of a dispute as to who should be leading the battle. And now Ladniak has fallen back behind Rene Kirscher. We've also got a similar bulletin saying that Patrick Singh and Roland Hurtner were to change positions, and I believe they've done that. Of course, Patrick Singh getting that bulletin after he tagged Roland Hurtner into a spin earlier on. Just exiting the pits there is Kai Rozovsky. He came in just a couple of laps ago, so some minor issues there on his Audi by the looks of it. Well, I tell you what, the Kirscher-Ladniak situation is certainly rather confusing, and Ladniak continues to fall backwards because Karklees is now through as well. So Simon Ladniak really is falling off the pace here in the closing stages. But regardless of exactly what was going on there between Rene Kirscher and Simon Ladniak, Jessica Bachmann has profited because she is up to third place, of course. That gives her more points. That keeps her just about in the title hunt. Meanwhile, we see a good battle here between Robin Jahr and Tim Rolliker. Rolliker back through into seventh place. He made that stick at turn 1. Robin Jahr is falling off the back now of Tim Rolliker. I think maybe Robin has some issues of some description. Certainly it doesn't look like the car wants to turn particularly. And oh, that's a big hit for Roland Hurtner. Roland Hurtner hit the gravel coming out of turn 8. And that sent him careening into the Armco barrier. The car lives on. And Roland Hurtner's going to limp that back to the pit lane. But the red flag is out, and I believe that could well be because of barrier damage, because even though the car continued on, I can't help but think Honda Civic versus Armco only goes one way. And I'll give you a clue, the Civic was still running, so I think the Armco might have lost. That said, I think the Armco got a good few jabs on the Honda by the looks of it, didn't it? Just ran it out wide there, did Roland Hurtner, and watch the barriers. Yeah, there's a lot of damage there to those barriers. And he was not too far away from hitting a concrete wall there, so Roland Hurtner was lucky in a sense. But that's going to be a big repair job for the Liqui-Moly Team Engstler Honda outfit. Race has been red flagged with what was less than 90 seconds remaining, so I think we know that the clock that is still ticking is going to tick down to 0, and that will be the end of the race. Roland Hurtner surveys the damage. Certainly, he is a veteran of saloon car racing. He'll have had a couple of hard knocks in his time, but really quite admirable that his first thought was, right, I'm taking this back to the pits. Nonetheless, Roland Hurtner will not register as a finisher. He'll be disappointed by this because, of course, he is in something of a championship battle with Vincent Rademacher within the trophy class of the TCR Germany. And now, with Vincent Rademacher not present this weekend, Roland Hurtner was hoping to get some good points on the board, and he's not going to get many great points on the board with that smash. Martin Andersson, though, will once again have a full haul, a full 25 points. He already secured both pole positions, and thus 20 points in qualifying on Friday evening. And now with a full 25 points today, his championship advantage only grows. Jessica Bachmann, meanwhile, finishing third place on 16 points. That will mean the gap between the two of them will be out to 86 points, I make that. But no, 84 points, brain fart. 84 points, and with only 95 points left to score as of the end of this race, Andersson hasn't secured the championship mathematically, but he's got both hands on the trophy and he's just straining to do the final lift, isn't he? Martin Andersson takes the win then. We've had it confirmed, as we all suspected, that no restart is forthcoming. The race is concluded here, and Martin Andersson tallies up his 5th consecutive victory. He really has taken a stranglehold upon this championship. He is still yet to finish off the podium in the 2022 ADAC TCR Germany season. He could do some motion capture for the next Mario game with that little fist bump up in the air. He receives his plaudits from the team. And the big boss there to wish him well as well. Niels Langeveld finishing second place on his return to ADAC TCR Germany. A second place in rather bizarre circumstances. Again, it seemed as though Rene Kirscher and Simon Ladniak were having an argument as to who should have been in the lead of their battle after a steward's decision. And that's allowed Jessica Bachmann and Niels Langeveld through into second and third place.
Great job, thanks a lot, so good.
And Niels Langeveld bringing the first podium of the season for Maura Motorsport as well. So that's cause for celebration for the Holden Astra team. Filling in for the Belgian Vincent Rademacher, himself a winner in the British Touring Car Championship in years gone by during the Super Touring era. Niels Langeveld, fresh off a Italian Touring Car Championship title victory, which he secured at the final round at Imola, returns to TCR Germany with a podium. Roland Hurtner retired from today's TCR Germany race with a thud. Airborne after hitting the Armco there. That was a scary hit for Roland Hurtner. Glad to see that he was out of the car walking, and indeed that he was able to continue driving after the hit. I think Hurtner would report back to the team kaput after that observation of the car's damage. Martin Andersson with yet another win. Spoke to him after qualifying yesterday, and I said, another 20 points in the pocket for you, and he said, yeah, but I got 6 more points over Jessica. He is focused solely on securing his championship in ADAC TCR Germany. He played something of a rear gunner role last year to Luca Engstler, as Luca took the championship for Liqui Team Engstler. And of course, they are looking for their 4th consecutive driver's title this year down at Team Engstler. And Martin Andersson is a hair's breadth away from securing said championship. There's Jessica Backman. Good to see sportsmanship there between Jessica and Martin. I think Jessica will be all too aware that her chances of winning the championship now hinge solely on misfortune for Martin Andersson, and frankly, he hasn't had much of that this year. Niels Langeveld and Jessica Backman finish behind Martin Andersson. We've got 5 nations in the top 5 with René Kirscher in 4th place. He takes the junior class victory as well, ahead of Jonas Karklis. Ladniak 2nd in the juniors and 6th overall. Robin Jahr 7th position. And in 8th place, Tim Rolliker. Of course, Ladniak making it 6 nationalities in the top 6 there. Very multinational grid this weekend in the TCR Germany. 9th place will be Roland Hertner, in spite of that moment at the end of the race. Of course, we count back a lap, and I believe that still means he claims full points for the trophy class. So that's rather fortunate for him. Patrick Singh rounding out the overall top 10 in what was an exciting race for the ADAC TCR Germany. We had a couple of drivers suffer problems and head to the pits. We had one driver rearrange his car somewhat. Roland Hertner and team will be working hard to get that car out for tomorrow's race, which will take place at 11:35 tomorrow morning. So they're going to have to get it done tonight, I suspect. There are the points permutations. Martin Andersson, 86 points clear of Jessica Backman in the championship hunt. 95 points left to score. He could well win the championship tomorrow here at the Sachsenring. Ladniak is now officially out of championship contention mathematically. Jonas Karklis has fallen a little bit further back from him as well so far this weekend. But all eyes on Andersson as we anticipate he could well be champ by tomorrow, depending on Jessica Backman's performance relative to him. Jessica just didn't have the pace in the early stages of today's race. Fell from 2nd to 5th place on that first lap. But once she settled into the race and settled into the Audi, it seemed that her traditional pace was still there. Marshall's are going to have to work hard to repair the barrier, which has received a hefty dent. Our race program for the day isn't complete either, so a lot of people will be watching that with vested interest in the ADAC GT Germany paddock. Here comes Jessica Backman then to take the 3rd step on the podium. Car number 2 of the season for Jessica Backman, serving her fairly well. If there hadn't been that parish disagreement between Simon Ladniak and René Kirscher, we could well have seen the championship sewn up today for Martin Andersson. Backman would have finished 5th place without those two dropping behind Langeveld and Backman. There's the representative from Liqui Honda Team Engstler. And here is the Danish national anthem. Another win for Liqui Team Engstler. And the victory trophies being presented. Detlef Hastreiter presenting these rather magnificent trophies that they've got on hand this weekend. We're marveling at them in the GT Masters race broadcast earlier on. It seems that they're across the board. We approve. Helmut Buschke hands the second place trophy to Niels Langeveld. And Jessica Backman receiving the third place trophy. She'll be fairly happy with that. I think she'll now be starting to put more of an eye on 2023 as the mathematical permutations fall ever further in favor of Martin Andersson. But she'll be looking to try and get back on that winning form that she had at the start of the year. 4 wins in 6 races in the early stages, and another first place trophy or 2 would certainly be most welcome for Jessica and her supporters. And so, Martin Andersson's never one to shy away from celebrating a victory. The bubbly is sprayed. I think that got into Jessica's eyes quite badly. Nothing that a quick rinse won't fix. But Jessica behind Niels Langeveld today. We'll see what Niels can do tomorrow as well, as he gets more and more used to that Holden Astra.